Good morning, class. My name is Ms. Gonzalez, and today we're going to be talking about relationships among quadrilaterals. In order for us to be successful in understanding quadrilaterals, we need to define a few key terms so that way we can understand how to identify quadrilaterals just a little bit easier. So, a quadrilateral, we're going to break this word apart. Quad means four. Lateral means side. So putting these two characteristics together means we're going to be talking about a shape that has four sides. Parallelogram is parallel. We're going to break this one apart too, I'm sorry. Means parallel means opposite sides are equal. So this means we're going to be also looking at a quadrilateral that may be identified as a parallelogram. If it's identified as a parallelogram, it's going to have two parallel sides that are equal. Some of your quadrilaterals may have congruent sides. Congruent sides means when two sides are the same length. So remember, there's a difference between congruent and parallelogram. So please don't get these confused. I'm going to leave these up here while we do the example problems. Be sure not to start your worksheet until we have finished the example problems. So for the first one, we're going to be identifying all the quadrilaterals. We'll write down the name next to each shape. We'll identify if there's any parallel or congruent sides. We'll also be identifying, and this is optional for many of you that still are confused about angles, if the shape has any angles. If it does, I would like for you to list the angles next to each shape in your worksheet. We will also be talking about how some of these quadrilaterals may be called parallelograms. Make sure to refer back to the term if you get confused. And remember, I'm going to leave these up here. So let's start with the first one. The first one, we can identify it as a trapezoid. So next to this shape, we're going to write trapezoid. Okay, now let's look at this shape. Does it have any parallel sides? And remember, two parallel sides are opposite sides that are equal, so the sides have to be opposite from each other. So far, I see one, and it would be this side and this side. So we're going to put next to parallel sides, one pair. Now let's see if we can find any angles. Remember, there's an acute angle, a right angle. So which ones do you see here? Okay, we see an acute angle, two acute angles. One right here and one right here. So we'll write two acute. All right, let's move on to problem 2. Let's look at the shape. Looking at the shape, what can we infer about it? It looks like something that we would fly outside, something we would fly at the beach. Yes, it's a kite. So we're going to put kite. Okay. Now let's look at this shape again. How many congruent sides can we see in this shape? Yes. One pair. All right. Are there any parallel sides? Yes. So we have one, two. We have two pairs of parallel sides. What about any angles? Remember, there's an acute, there's right, there's obtuse. Yes, it's going to be obtuse. All right, let's move on to problem 3. Okay, first let's identify what the shape is. Remember, just because it's turned a little bit doesn't mean it's going to be another shape. Yes, it's a rectangle. By looking at this rectangle, how many parallel sides can you see? Yes, there's two pairs. a moment to look back at our terms. When we see a shape that has maybe two pairs of parallel sides, like the rectangle, what do you think this type of shape can also be called, aside from it being called a quadrilateral? Yes, a parallelogram. So, this shape is also known as a parallelogram, so I want y'all to write that next to it. Okay, now let's see, do y'all see any angles, any acute, any obtuse, any right? Yes, we see two right angles. Okay, so is anybody confused about how we can identify relationships among quadrilaterals? No? If there are no more questions, I need for y'all to start on that worksheet. You do not finish the worksheet, you're gonna have to take it home for homework. Y'all still have about 10 minutes before the bell rings, so get started on your worksheet, and I'll give you a 5-minute warning when it's getting closer to the bell getting ready to ring. And we are gonna have to copy down also the homework. So as you're doing the worksheet, I'm gonna write your homework on the board. You'll copy it down, make sure you put it in your math book, and then you can be on your way to your next class. So let's take about the last 10 minutes of class to finish up the worksheet. Okay guys, we have about a couple of minutes before the bells can ring, so go ahead and find a stopping point in your paper. If you did not get to finish the worksheet, I want you to finish that for homework tonight, in addition to finishing these 3 problems for homework as well. I went ahead and left the terms up here. If you did not get to copy them down, I would like you to do so now. Let's just kind of talk about what we just discussed, what we just learned. So today we talked about relationships among quadrilaterals. We identified how many parallelograms that we had, how many congruent sides, how many parallel sides, and we also went ahead and threw a little bit of angles into the lesson as well. We discovered how some had the same characteristics. We also discovered how some may not all be identified as parallelograms, and how some might not always have parallel sides. If they do not have a parallel side, it's more than likely that they'll have a congruent side. So let's be sure to keep these in mind. I want you all to pick up, gather your stuff, make sure you get a copy of your homework, write it down in your math book, and we will finish this up tomorrow.